Today, folks, we are going to move to issues of a more esoteric and even metaphysical nature. Before we get on to a very special guest author interview with Amazon best-selling authors Saqqarah and Megan. But first, we're going to look at the increasing phenomenon of people seeking real spiritual nourishment beyond what our traditional religions offer. And what I mean by that is the many, many people turning their backs on religion and seeking their own relationship with God or the Creator, the divine essence, Gaia, call it what you like, but people seeking something real and personal which they are not finding in church. Now, first off, I'm not here to rip on Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. They have their places, let's say, and for many people they are the only acceptable means of communicating with God. So no, I'm referring to the many people who are out searching what popularly is called spirituality, right? And are turning to spiritualism, paganism, tribalism, and a whole host of isms that generally stem from the world's oldest cultures and have those that have been largely forgotten in the wake of the three big religions and their onslaught over the last 100 years or so. Now, many people are seeking out these old forms and are embracing them wholeheartedly, often, which I like to chide, they're claiming the traditions as their own and finding great comfort by doing so. And I take nothing away from them, although I kind of like to mock all these people heading out to the Nevada desert and suddenly becoming American Indians, right? But, no. Every person must find their own road to God. But as a student of antiquity and a modest scholar in all things emanating before, during, and since the golden age of Greece, I take a bit of sarcastic delight to see so many people out discovering the wheel, as it were, or stumbling just now onto terms and concepts that the old-timers worked out, 2,500 years ago or before that. As if these new discoveries are not simply synthesized combinations of old thoughts, but are entirely fresh, right? Indeed, as another old-timer once said, if you don't remember your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And that's really what is happening now in my mind, in the wake of the failures of the world's religions to hold us all in their sway. A lot of folks, upon finding these old spiritual traditions, declare they have found truth and then become enthusiastic, even evangelistic about their discoveries, yes. And who can blame them? Starving, as most people are, for actual truth and understanding. Now, again, I don't claim to understand the answers to every spiritual issue, although I have formed my own comfortable collections of ideals that work for me. But as far as shoving it down somebody else's throat, I do not think so. I say, find your own road instead, and if you want, okay, I'll tell you about mine. However, I can see clearly with a sharp historical view of what is going on and the great state of confusion we are wallowing in. Most of you know my stance on therapy and counseling, but what I don't often say is that I believe that the vast majority of people seeking out therapy and putting their trust in psychology are really getting misdiagnosed. They're heading in the wrong directions. They have existential issues, by and large, and not psychological ones. And what I mean by that is most of our problems are a result of the industrial civilization we have created and the states of isolation, separation, and fragmentation that have emerged as byproducts. Yes, friends, today we are separated from everything and everybody, where once we were connected to our families, our neighbors or villages, the words we use, the God we pray to. Now we are suffering from this vast disconnection with what was. The feeling of meaninglessness, which is everywhere, that there is no meaning or sense in the world. And that awareness creates a feeling which we call despair. And it is despair that most people have confused with depression. No. Despair is a philosophical and not psychological condition, and as such, the tools used to understand and deal with despair won't work. I mean, psychology can't deal with despair because you have to use philosophical tools in order to harness and understand and come to grips with what despair really is.